Okay. Got everybody?
Right behind you.
Okay. I just want to I want to thank all my colleagues. We've most of us have worked together since I ran for governor back in 2010. We've had different jobs, but we've all had the opportunity to work together. Today, they've all come together. We've all come together because we are a team. We're all going to make sure we win our Senate race, and we're all going to win our House races. And the way this works is if we all win all these House races, we win the Senate race. I want to thank all my colleagues for their endorsement. And I'm going to do everything I can to win my race, but I'm also going to do everything I can to help them win their races because it's a team sport. We know Biden's horrible. I think we're gonna have the White House, the House, and the Senate. We should have a majority in the House and a majority in the Senate. But most of it, we got to do our jobs in Florida. So I want to thank everybody for coming, and let me turn it over to my senior colleague from Florida, Marco Rubio.
Well, we have to get Rick Scott reelected for a couple reasons. First of all, it's good for Florida. No one in the Senate works harder than Rick Scott, and I'm talking about. And we have a lot of people that work hard, long hours, you know, and he's on it from early morning to late at night and on the weekends. He's done it from the day he walked in. I'm sure he's done it his whole life. He brings a unique perspective because he brings the perspective as governor, so he understands the issues of Florida very intricately, but he also is now able to apply that to the broader issues confronting the country. And so it is critical that we reelect him just because he's a good senator. On top of that, for my party and for the sake of our country, there's no way that Chuck Schumer is removed as majority leader and replaced if Rick Scott's not reelected. And third point I would make is how ironic it would be if a state like Florida, the place that people have gone to run away from socialism, in Venezuela, in Cuba, in Nicaragua, in California, in New York, to somehow elect someone who one of the first things she did when she got up to Congress is try to join the squad. It won't be on any of her commercials, but she desperately wanted to be adopted by the squad. She wanted to be a member of those insane people who hate America, want to destroy or redefine it, and she tried to join that group. Of course, when she ran for re-election, at some point figured out that that was not compatible with the majority of our voters, but it didn't save her nonetheless. But that's who they found, and that's who Chuck Schumer wants to run, and we can't let the Chuck Schumer candidate win in Florida. It'll be bad for our country and bad for our state. Brevemente lo que quiero decir es que a Rick Scott hay que reelegirlo. Nadie en el Senado trabaja más horas o da más energía que lo que ha hecho él. Él tiene una perspectiva muy única, fue gobernador del Estado, entiende todos los temas del Estado, pero también lo ha podido aplicar a nivel nacional, y es importante. También es importante entender que su oponente es una persona que el día que vino al Congreso, era miembro del Congreso, lo primero que hizo es tratar de alinearse con este movimiento izquierdista de personas radicales que lo que quieren es o destruir el país o cambiarlo, y no podemos permitir que alguien como ese entre en el Senado o que represente un estado como la Florida, que tiene tantas personas que han venido a nuestro estado huyendo de ese socialismo, ese izquierdismo que ha destrozado a países y a estados y comunidades de nuestro propio país. Así que por eso estamos aquí. Es una campaña que vamos a ganar, pero va a haber mucho dinero en su contra porque todos los intereses especiales de izquierda van a venir a la Florida y tratar de ganar este escaño, pero no se lo vamos a permitir. Es importante que salgan a votar, y empezando hoy que quiero dar ese mensaje a nuestros votantes, lo importante que es esta contienda, lo importante que es que Rick Scott salga reelecto al Senado de los Estados Unidos. Thank you. You understand Spanish. He got all of that, believe me.
Todo. Español es muy importante. 50% de personas de nuestro estado hablan español. Es muy importante en la elección. Mario.
Thank you, Rick. Why re-elect Rick Scott? Because he gets things done. Because he's effective. Because he's honorable. Because he's a straight shooter. And because he's no nonsense. I don't, as you heard from Senator Rubio, there's nobody in the Senate that works harder. There's nobody in the Senate that gets more done. There's nobody in the Senate who is as straight. And so it's a privilege to be here with my other colleagues supporting the re-election of Rick Scott. And contrast that with the fact that the person who's running against him had a shot, got elected to Congress, and then was rejected by the voters once they saw her record. So the distinction could not be more dramatic. Rick Scott, a person who gets things done, who's a straight shooter, versus somebody who has already been rejected by her voters because they did not like what she did when she got to Congress. ¿Por qué hay que reelegir a Rick Scott? Porque es eficaz, porque es honesto, porque es una persona que sabe cómo lograr ayudar a nuestro Estado, a nuestro país. Es esencial reelegir a Rick Scott. Y también hay que hablar del contraste entre Rick Scott y su contrincante, una persona que estuvo en la Cámara 2 años. 2 años solamente. ¿Por qué? Porque salió electa a la Cámara de Representantes y entonces, como dijo Marco Rubio, nuestro senador, se alineó a los grupos de más extremistas de izquierda, criptocomunistas, socialistas. Ahí fue donde ella quiso ejercer los 2 años que estuvo en la Cámara. ¿Y qué fue lo que pasó? Los votantes rechazaron a la que ahora está la contrincante de Rick Scott para el Senado. Así que el contraste no puede ser tan dramático. Un hombre eficaz, que logra cosas importantes, que lucha por nuestro Estado, nuestro país y la libertad contra una persona que ya ha sido rechazado por el electorado. Por eso tenemos que reelegir a Rick Scott.
Thanks, Mario. Thank you, Mauro. Verb Buchanan.
The worst thing you could have is follow 2 Cubans. A good friend. Let me just say, I had a unique opportunity when I met Rick originally. We were in a golf cart. I was a freshman member in Congress, and we sat there for 18 holes, and he asked me one question after another about politics, what I thought, because we have similar backgrounds. I was in business 30 years before I got here. He was in business about that time frame. But I would just tell you, and they've said it, there is nobody that works harder than he does. If you call him, he calls back within a half hour, an hour. That's unheard of. And he was, the reason that Florida's where Florida's at today is because of his leadership, his vision, his hard work, and building a team with all of us together. So he's been a great friend. Our wives are good friends, and he'd be an exceptional senator, as he has been, even more so going forward, because I think he'll be in a better position to make more things happen. But again, there's nobody I've met that works any harder than Rick Scott, and I would just compliment my friends up here. They made the same comment. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Bill, you know.
Bill Posey from Florida District 8. That's Central East Coast Florida. I've known Rick for a long time and had the honor of working with him when he was the governor and now in the United States Senate. And I have to tell you, as has been said, he's arguably one of the hardest working people that we have in Washington, D.C., one of the straightest shooters. As they said, not often from the Senate side, except from our 2 senators, you actually get a call returned from a senator. But I admire the man's courage. When it looked like McConnell was off the rail, he challenged him. Not many senators over there would dare to do that. It's been wonderful for Florida to be represented by such a great senator, and we're so blessed that he's willing to stand up and go for another term. God bless Senator Scott, and God bless America.
Thank you. Kat?
Oh, boy. Okay. Wasn't anticipating speaking, but since we're doing every speech now in both English and Spanish, primero en español. Just kidding. Thank you, Senator Scott. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to serve alongside you. And I know you and I have worked together on many initiatives, one of which that I am very excited about, something that is going to impact families not just in Florida, but across this nation, really fighting for and standing up for families who are struggling to conceive. We're taking a strong stance to protect IVF. I am so honored to be leading this charge with you, Senator Scott. But it's not just when it comes to families that you have a champion in Senator Scott. It's also agriculture. All of us here represent a state that is a massive agricultural state. We have a #2 economic driver of agriculture in the state, and we have a very critical farm bill that we have to advance this year, and we're going to get it done. But on top of that, we're also a disaster-prone state. And it's not our politics that are a disaster, but it is the disasters that descend on us. And so whether it is Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Idalia, I have been to the same places that Senator Scott has been, and he is boots on the ground, sleeves rolled up, ready to get to work. And so when he was governor, that was the tagline, let's get to work. He's taken that same mentality to Washington, and man, has he gotten to work. He deserves and has earned another 6 years as one of the best damn senators in the nation representing the Freedom and Sunshine State. So it's an honor to endorse and support you, and I look forward to many, many more wins coming out of our office.
Thanks, Scott. John?
Thank you, Senator. Listen, you've heard everyone talk about how hard Senator Scott works. But I'm going to tell you why. Because he cares. He truly cares about people. He cares about their welfare. He cares about their safety. During my 12 years as sheriff in Northeast Florida, I got to work very closely with this man when he was governor. And folks, I can tell you, he truly, truly cares, and he puts the time in because of that. And if for no other reason, that's why you got my endorsement, because the police love you. You get things done.
You were a great sheriff.
God bless you. Thank you.
Neil, you want?
Thank you very much, Mr. Governor. So I was privileged to work with Rick as governor as well as senator, and I owe him a special debt. You've heard people talk about how hard he works and how much he cares. I had a terrible disaster, Cat 5 storm hit my district. I don't think any of us have seen any more damage in our lifetimes, and I've been in a number of wars. He was there, Johnny, on the spot every single day for like 8 or 10 days after that storm. He actually gave me his cell phone. I don't know if you remember that. I took his cell phone right out of his pocket because mine wouldn't work. God bless you, Senator. He cares, and he's really, this is a man who brings a special set of expertise to the job. Let's send him back to Washington. Thank you.
Laura?
I'm Laurel Lee from Florida's 15th Congressional District, and I originally got to know Senator Scott back in 2013 when he appointed me to the Circuit Court bench. As governor, Rick Scott knew that it mattered to find jurists who appreciated the Constitution and the rule of law just like he did. And it is such an honor to be part of the legacy of his investment in our jurists and that branch of government. He also knew that the most basic and important thing you could do for Floridians was provide them economic opportunity and jobs. He was committed to that throughout his tenure as governor, and he has brought that same sentiment to Washington, ensuring that we're focused on the types of economic policies that are going to provide employment for Americans and that are going to keep our economy strong. It's a privilege to get to work with him jointly on some of the greatest issues today that are facing our country. You've heard about his commitment to agriculture, to the men and women of law enforcement. He's also committed to ensuring that we're fighting the crisis at the southern border. I have co-sponsored, along with Senator Scott, a bicameral and bipartisan bill to help combat the fentanyl crisis facing our country, to ensure that the men and women of law enforcement have the resources and the tools that they need to help protect them and to help stop the flow of fentanyl. He's also a veteran and committed to making sure that men and women of our armed services and our veterans and retired population are getting the services that they need and that we are paying back to them for what they have done for our country. As the daughter of a two-star general, it is so important to me to ensure that the men and women of our military are cared for, and he fought for them as governor and continues to do so here in Washington. He is the type of member that we need, committed to strong policy, committed to Floridians, working here every day to make sure that we are keeping the Sunshine State free and that we're keeping it red. So I am so proud to partner with you and look forward to our future work.
Mike?
It's not just the senator's work ethic and the responsiveness to us, it's responsiveness to our constituents. And Senator, I can't tell you how many times when you were governor and now that I'll meet with somebody, talk to a group, agriculture, military, veterans, what have you, and they're commenting on how we will literally pick up the phone in the middle of a meeting and start giving direction to get their issue taken care of and get it done. So thank you on behalf of so many that we've met with. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention this was a good Navy man, and serving with you and partnering with you from House Armed Services to Senate Armed Services to make sure our military bases are taken care of, the major combatant commands, our soldiers, but most importantly, threats that we all know you fully realize, particularly from the Chinese Communist Party. So thank you for your leadership as governor. Thank you for your leadership as senator. I don't know anyone else that has that military background but can also read a balance sheet, unlike many of our colleagues running agencies here in Washington, D.C. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, all right, I'm going to go this way.
Gus.
Thank you.
So what, should I say it in Greek? Well, you know what, why not? Πρέπει να ψηφίσουμε τον Rick Scott. Είναι πάρα πολύ καλός άνθρωπος και μας βοηθάει και ο Rick Scott αγαπάει την Ελλάδα και την Κύπρο μας, αλλά αγαπάει την Αμερική μας. Okay, folks, I just want to tell you what a great senator he is. What an outstanding person he is. He truly cares. He's genuine. He's sincere. And he loves his constituents, and he loves the United States of America. I've worked with him on health care issues, senior issues in particular, but also children with rare diseases, finding cures and treatments. The man is incredible. I don't know if he even sleeps, to tell you the truth. I mean, every time I give him a call, and I call him often on behalf of our constituents, he gets it done. He gets the job done. You know why? Because he's a businessman. He has a proven record, and I'd like to see him, I don't know if he's interested, but I'd like to see him run the United States Senate as well as a majority leader. So again, you know, no flair, you know, none of these, no celebrity-like figure or anything like that. He's just a United States senator, an elected representative like the founding fathers intended. He cares about his constituents, he gets the job done, and he's a businessman above all, and very efficient, and we really love him as a United States senator from the state of Florida. We got to keep him there. Thank you. God bless you, Senator.
Thanks, Gus. Scott.
All right. Thank you, Senator. I'm going to beat the drum a little bit more. You've heard it over and over again. Senator Scott is the hardest working elected official I have ever met in my life. It's been a privilege to call him my governor for 2 terms and my senator and now my partner as we go about doing the business of Florida 18, which I'm proud to represent. Whether it's getting our folks back up on their feet after a storm or helping our growers and the challenges that they face, he is there with me as a partner side by side all the way through. And as John Rutherford had mentioned before, the governor, or the senator and governor, cares so much. And the reason he does is to put a little more meat on that bone. He knows about the dignity that comes from having a job. That was his slogan as the Florida governor. We're going to get Florida back to work. That's why Florida is now a beacon for the United States, for people to come to Florida, because we are the land of the free state of Florida. And I would say he got that train going. He put America back on its feet. And that's why we need not only him back in the Senate, but we need reinforcements. I also would echo Gus's sentiments. I'd love to see him running the Senate over there and whipping that body into shape. And we just need more like him. And I'm proud to serve with him, and we'll do everything I can to help him. Thank you, Senator.
Thanks. Matt.
No, it's an honor to be here at this impromptu press conference for Rick Scott for Majority Leader. It's been a true honor to work with Senator Scott for the last 13 years, and one of the reasons he's such an important leading voice in the Senate from any perch is because Senator Scott understands the policies that will unlock opportunity for our country, because he has put those policies to work for the people of Florida as our governor and then as our senator. If you have a tourism job in Florida right now, it's likely because Governor Scott was the very first governor to say we're going to have 100 million visitors to this state to drive our economy. If you're a military family in Florida right now and you get the exquisite welcoming embrace of the state of Florida, it's because Senator Scott made sure that Florida was the #1 state in the country for military families. And each and every day, we're working to advocate for more military mission and for more of those good policies that unlocked that great potential and success. And I have to say something about the person that Senator Scott's running against, because I served with her for 2 years on the Judiciary Committee, and she was for every open borders policy that the Democrats could think of. She wanted entitlements for illegal aliens. She wanted more giveaways to illegal aliens. Her vision for the country is to have more illegal aliens here. She also was terrible for police. She was for every Democrat proposal to strip the immunities away from our police and to make proactive policing more difficult for Florida's law enforcement. And she also embraced the policies of socialism that so many Floridians have been fleeing. So thank you for your steadfast support for our economy, for our military, and for all of our districts.
Thanks, Matt. Aaron.
Thank you very much. A very good afternoon. I'm Aaron Bean. I'm one of the new guys representing Jacksonville. There's a little tiny town north of Jacksonville, Yulee, Florida. There's a super Walmart. And in 2006 or 2007, I met a young, dynamic CEO. His name was Rick Scott. He opened a care access clinic in the super Walmart. We cut the ribbon together, and he revolutionized healthcare back then because there was a menu board. How much was it to see the doctor? $40. It was with an x-ray, it was $70. But it revolutionized and made healthcare affordable, attainable, and a new choice. That was our beginning of a relationship. I then served with him as I was in the legislature. He was the governor, and we just had a hard time keeping up with him because he put Florida, as Matt Gaetz said, on a course for prosperity. Florida is still on that prosperity course because Rick Scott was at the helm and steered us in that direction. America, don't want to scare anybody, but America is coming to a crossroads, and we've got two colossal problems that will collapse our country from within. One is our debt, the other is our border. Rick Scott understands both of those problems. And the first thing you do to get out of the hole is stop digging. We've got somebody, his opponent's ready to dig more. Rick Scott's ready to bring us out to the promised land and put America on that same prosperous prosperity course that Florida is on right now. So Florida, I'm looking at you, Florida. Let's not take this election for granted. Every vote counts, and it's time to get behind our Senator Rick Scott. Let's go get him, Rick.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Certainly my pleasure to be here supporting Senator Rick Scott for re-election. He and I worked together very closely. I was the mayor of Miami-Dade County, and he was the governor.
The whole time I think I was governor.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Yeah. So and I'll tell you what you see in Florida today, what you see in Miami-Dade County today, is really the seeds that were planted by then Governor Scott. Single-minded, jobs. And why are jobs so important? Jobs change lives. But not only change the life, but also it's generational. It changes generations. And he understands that. And so he created the environment for the growth of Florida. He created the environment for what I consider the greatness of Florida, the greatest state, I think, in the union right now. And I'm eternally grateful for that. I represent Florida's 28th Congressional District. It used to be the 26th Congressional District. And the governor's opponent, it was my distinct pleasure in defeating her and sending her packing. And I can tell you that what's been said about her is absolutely true. She was a member of the Progressive Caucus, two members of which have just recently had a secret meeting, and not so secret because apparently we know about it, but a secret meeting with the Castro regime to open up Cuba, lift the embargo, take them off the terrorist list of nations that support terrorism. That's what the Progressive Caucus is about, and she was a member of that and a very proud member of that. She's an extreme left, well, she's a left extremist that is wrong for now Florida's 28th Congressional District and now wrong for the entire state of Florida. And so I'm very proud and very happy to support you, Senator, in your re-election and help you defeat your opponent one more time. And I will be there saying bye, okay, as she gets defeated. A couple of words in Spanish. Es un orgullo estar aquí apoyando a nuestro senador Rick Scott por la reelección. Él y yo trabajamos muy cercano cuando yo era el alcalde del condado de Miami-Dade, era el gobernador, y yo te puedo decir que él creó las condiciones para lo que es el estado de Florida hoy en día. El crecimiento, el trabajo, la libertad que nosotros tenemos en ese estado, él es la persona responsable por eso. Así que estamos ahora ganando los resultados del trabajo que él hizo como el gobernador. Y yo también tuve el honor, el placer
de derrotar a su oponente hoy, que es la oponente que él también va a derrotar, porque ella es parte del extremo izquierdista del Partido Demócrata. Ella es parte del caucus progresivo, que dos miembros recientemente fueron a Cuba para negociar con el régimen castrista. Eso es el tipo de ideología que tiene la oponente, que está completamente equivocado para no solamente el Distrito 28, pero el estado de la Florida. Así que yo voy a ayudarlo lo más posible para asegurar que su oponente nunca llegue al Senado y también que él pueda lograr otros 6 años como nuestro senador. El estado de la Florida necesita a Rick Scott, pero también, y más importante, los Estados Unidos necesitan a Rick Scott también. Así que con eso, Governor, Senator, you have my complete and 100% support.
Well, we've all, as you can tell, we've all gotten to work together for the last 13, almost 14 years, and we've all worked hard to make sure this is the state that everybody wants to move to, and they seem to be moving to Florida. So everything that we've done as a team, and this is a team sport. If we want to make this country better, we've got to work together as a team, and that's why we're working here. So I appreciate everybody's support, and I'll do everything I can to make sure everybody up here wins their race. So any of us can take any questions.
Quick question regarding Yvonne Debbie Mucarsel-Powell made the case against her, which is progressive. But what does that say about the as a whole, the Democrat Party of Florida, or the Democrat Party of the United States? What does that say about them putting up a candidate like this?
I mean, a bunch of liberals. I mean, they don't think about the things people care about. They care about the border. I mean, they're all supporting open borders, basically. They don't care about jobs. They don't care about the budget. They don't care about the debt. They're not, look at, Biden's so weak, he's got us into 2 conflicts now around the world. I mean, everything Biden and the Democrats have done has failed us. And people like what's going on in Florida. That's why people are moving to Florida. They don't want defunding them police. They want great education. They want great jobs. So that's what we're all going to make sure happens. Anybody else? Yes.
Thank you, Senator Scott. There's been reports that you told President Trump during your visit to Mar-a-Lago that you're seriously considering running for leader. Do you have a timeline in place, and are you waiting until after November to make a decision? Is it based off of your election?
Well, I had a great meeting with President Trump yesterday. He had a big win yesterday. The Supreme Court made the right decision. They protected democracy. He's going to have a big win today, so he's excited about the wins he's going to have today. And so, we just talked about how we're both going to win our races.
No timeline?
Any questions? I'll add one. So former President Trump attacked the filibuster when he was president, pressured Republicans to get rid of it. Do you believe that the filibuster should be preserved in all circumstances, or do you think it should be changed if it means enacting more conservative priorities?
Well, I've supported the filibuster. It's been abused by. I mean, I think what's happened up here is you basically have, Schumer working with McConnell to get the number of votes to pass horrible legislation, whether it was the omnibus, whether it was the CHIPS bill, there's a lot of these things that never should have happened. We should have had to come together, and that's why we're running against McConnell. We are not representing our states. We're not representing Republican values up here, and so that's why what we're going to be doing the week of the 18th of March, Mike Lee, Ron Johnson, some of the others, we all said we're going to have a conference meeting. Let's decide what we stand for and what we want to do going forward. That's why I ran against McConnell last time. And that's what I believe we ought to be doing.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.